They were leaders, warriors, and guardians of ancestral traditions. But despite their strength and importance, Indigenous women faced cruel persecution that still echoes today. What history books fail to tell is how these women, who shaped entire societies, became targets of oppression in the name of colonization and power. It's shocking to think that entire cultures were destroyed and that their roles were systematically erased to sustain the false narrative of European superiority. Have you ever imagined what it would be like to live in a world where your freedom was taken away while your people fought to survive? The history of Indigenous women is filled with courage and resilience, but also with tragedies and injustices that few know about. And here's the most remarkable part. These women not only endured all this, but also left behind a legacy so strong that we can still learn from it today. Get ready to uncover a truth that will not only open your eyes, but also change the way you see history. The impact of these women goes far beyond what meets the eye, and what was done to them is something we all need to understand and acknowledge. Since time immemorial, in Indigenous tribes, women held positions far beyond what modern society might imagine. They were the backbone of the community, responsible for decisions that shaped daily life and the future of their people. Councils formed by women not only participated in but also led decisive processes, including electing or removing leaders. Furthermore, women played fundamental roles in religion and rituals, connecting the community with the spiritual and the sacred. They were guardians of traditions passed down through generations, strengthening the sense of belonging. A fascinating example is that of Iroquois women, who were not only consulted but held real power in tribal decisions. And it wasn't just in political and spiritual decision-making where they excelled. Indigenous women were directly involved in educating children and managing the welfare of the tribe. Now, thinking about it, have these values been lost over time, or have they simply taken new forms in our society? It's a mistake to think that Indigenous women stayed on the sidelines of conflicts. They not only participated in wars, but were key figures in battles, fighting side by side with men. Their courage was legendary, and their combat skills were recognized even by their adversaries. These women bore the weight of protecting their community, standing out for their bravery and determination in critical moments. A striking example of this was in 1868, when George Custer's regiment captured about 50 Cheyenne women. This event turned the tide of the war, showing how central the female role was not only in daily life, but also in extreme situations. It was not uncommon for these warriors to act as strategists, planning ambushes and leading troops with wisdom. The history of these women is marked by deeds that go beyond the mere act of waging war. Even in times of peace, they honed their skills to be ready if needed. For them, fighting wasn't just about defense. It was about preserving culture, values, and the legacy of their ancestors. The roles they played, whether in war or in maintaining the identity of their people, were vital for the survival and continuity of Indigenous traditions. Contrary to popular belief, Indigenous peoples maintained meticulous personal hygiene, especially women. They used natural cosmetics made from herbs, oils, and clays that not only cleansed the skin but also protected it from the elements. In an environment where nature was their greatest ally, the knowledge to create body care products was passed down through generations. Additionally, moisturizing oils extracted from seeds and native plants played a crucial role in protecting against the sun and wind. Women developed specific recipes for each season, adapting their care routines to the weather conditions. Well-cared-for skin was a symbol of vitality and status, something the colonizers, with their questionable hygiene habits, quickly noticed. These practices weren't limited to aesthetics. They were a way to prevent diseases and strengthen the connection to the land. This care also extended to elaborate hairstyles and adornments that highlighted each woman's natural beauty. Combs made of bone or wood were used to keep hair neat and healthy. This attention to detail shows how Indigenous women valued the balance between health, functionality, and appearance. Caring for the body went beyond vanity. It was a manifestation of respect for their identity and community. In Indigenous traditions, family was the central nucleus of community life, and women played a unique role in managing these relationships. Marriages, which could be monogamous or polygamous, were arranged based on alliances and the needs of the group. However, women had the freedom to decide the course of their unions, including the right to divorce if the relationship was unbalanced. This right reflected a vision of equality that, in a way, challenged the norms of colonizing societies. Family dynamics were carefully managed by women, who not only organized daily routines but also passed down values and traditions. They were responsible for teaching children the customs and beliefs of the tribe, ensuring that the culture was preserved from generation to generation. Often the home was a shared space where multiple families lived together, strengthening bonds and creating a network of mutual support. Additionally, the rites associated with marriage and family life were filled with symbolism. From the exchange of gifts to ceremonial songs, everything held meaning that celebrated unity and balance. Women, with their leadership roles in family traditions, were seen as fundamental pillars of society. Their ability to manage human relationships with wisdom shows how much these cultures valued femininity in all its expressions. In indigenous communities, the economy revolved around collective and sustainable activities, and women played an indispensable role in this system. They were responsible for cultivating food, gathering medicinal plants, and producing crafts, ensuring not only the survival, but also the prosperity of the tribe. This economic involvement gave them elevated status, regulated by complex traditions. In some tribes, practices like temporary marriages were used to consolidate economic alliances, demonstrating the flexibility of these cultures in blending personal and collective interests. Motherhood, in turn, was surrounded by rules and expectations to ensure the population's balance and the tribe's well-being. There was a clear understanding that the interval between births should be 4 years, allowing the woman to recover and give her full attention to the child. This birth control was achieved through natural methods, such as the use of contraceptive herbs. This balance between economy and motherhood highlights how indigenous women were seen as the foundation of the cultural and material continuity of their tribes. They not only brought life into the world but also supported the economic and social structure. This duality of roles was as natural as it was essential, uniting the practical and the symbolic in a cycle of life and tradition. Although indigenous women held central roles in many tribes, there were also contradictions regarding their rights and responsibilities. In some communities, rigid divisions of labor created clear boundaries about what women could and could not do. While in some tribes they had the power to elect leaders, in others they were excluded from important decisions, restricted to domestic and subsistence activities. This duality reflects the cultural complexity among the more than 2,200 tribes that coexisted in diverse contexts. The rules of coexistence were often shaped by the environment and the need for survival. For instance, some tribes expected women to focus exclusively on raising children and managing household tasks, while men hunted or went to war. Despite this, such limitations did not diminish their importance within the social structure. Even when deprived of certain rights in specific contexts, women were often the guardians of ancestral knowledge and cultural transmission. Today, far fewer tribes remain, and with them many of the contradictions and traditions have disappeared or evolved. The contrast between freedom and restriction that some indigenous women experienced serves as a reminder of the complexities that define any society. Even with these divisions, the role of women was essential in maintaining the cohesion and continuity of their peoples, balancing duties and challenges in a rapidly changing world. Share these stories, discuss them with others, and don't let these voices fade into the silence of forgetfulness. If this content resonated with you, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here we continue exploring stories that deserve to be told, and lessons that can transform lives. Because change begins with knowledge, and the next step is yours. Let's embark on this journey together.